My friends, there are seasons in our lives when the road feels crowded. Faces surround us, some smiling, some frowning, some holding our hands while quietly pressing stones into our pockets. And yet, there is a tender wisdom that moves through the world, a wisdom that clears the path. It will lift the weight, remove the shadow, and sometimes, yes, sometimes, it will take certain people right out of your life. Not to punish you, but to protect the song placed inside your soul. Not to leave you lonely, but to leave you open for what is holy, whole, and true. So today I stand here not to mourn what left, but to celebrate what is coming. Because when life subtracts, it is always to multiply your blessing. There are moments, beloved, when the very air seems to change. You can feel it in the morning when you rise. You can sense it in the way your coffee tastes, in the quiet stillness between your thoughts. A shifting, a loosening, a silent turning of the page. Sometimes, without notice, someone steps away from your table. They may do it quietly, as though slipping out the back door in the middle of the night. Or they may slam it shut, leaving echoes rattling in your chest. In either case, the departure may sting, because we humans, we carry a habit of clutching even the things that cut us. We hold on to hands that pull us under. We hold on to words that wound us in whispers. We hold on, not because they are good for us, but because the thought of empty space feels colder than the harm we have known. But there comes a day when the hand you were holding is no longer in yours. When the voice you once trusted falls silent. When the seat beside you sits empty, and you feel that ache, oh, you feel it deep, as if someone has stolen a part of your skin. Yet, if you listen closely, beyond the ache, you will hear something else. The sound of your own heartbeat, steady and strong. The breath moving in and out of your lungs without their permission. The sound of the door closing, and locking, and protecting. We do not always recognize protection when it arrives. Sometimes it comes wrapped in joy. A new job, a new city, a new friend. And sometimes it comes dressed as loss, carrying a sharp edge, splitting you from a person you thought you could not live without. But the truth, my friends, is that there are people whose hands are too rough for the delicate work of holding you. People whose eyes are too clouded to see your worth. People who cannot, and will not, speak the language of your becoming. And the same wisdom that formed your breath, the same force that raised you in the dark, before you knew your own name, will see to it that these people find the exit they were meant to take. It may happen after a heated exchange, words like arrows shot too fast to be caught. It may happen after a season of distance, where days turn into weeks, and you realize you have not heard their laughter in so long, you can't remember if it was real. It may happen without reason, without closure, without explanation, and though you may search for the why, turning memories over like stones in your hands, you may never find it, and that is all right, because the reason is often too deep for words, too intricate for human understanding. You see, there is a safety being built around you that you cannot always see in the moment. It is a safety that keeps your soul from bending under the wrong weight. It is a safety that allows you to grow without being strangled by the vines of another's bitterness. Sometimes departure is not cruelty. It is mercy. Mercy for you, and perhaps even for them. Mercy that says you will not be pulled into battles that do not belong to you. Mercy that says your spirit will not be drained for the sake of keeping someone else comfortable. And let me tell you something, my dear. When the wrong person walks out, do not run after them. Do not chase the back of a head that has turned away from you. Because every step you take in pursuit of what is leaving is a step away from what is coming to meet you. We were never made to drag people into our destiny. We were made to walk in it freely, hands open, ready to receive what is good and nourishing and true. And if your table looks emptier now, trust that the seats will be filled in their own time. Not by those who steal the bread from your plate, but by those who bring bread of their own to share. So do not fear the closing of a chapter. Do not fear the silence left behind by the wrong voices. Do not fear the loss of the wrong people. Because every subtraction in your life is making room for a blessing that would never have fit otherwise. And in that moment, when the dust settles, you will stand taller, you will breathe deeper, and you will realize you were never abandoned. You were secured. There is a myth we tell ourselves, that the people who begin the story with us are meant to stand beside us on every page until the very last chapter. We cling to it because it feels safe, because it wraps us in the comfort of familiarity, because it tells us that change can come without loss. But life, my dear, is not a straight road lined with the same companions from start to finish. Life is a winding path, sometimes narrow, sometimes wide, sometimes bordered by forests so thick you can hardly see the light, sometimes opening into fields where you can breathe in all directions, and along that path, travelers will join you, some for a mile, some for a season, and some, perhaps only for the space of a single breath. We must learn, with grace and with courage, to welcome them when they arrive and release them when they must depart. You see, some companions are here to teach you something you could not have learned alone. They bring a mirror to your soul, showing you beauty you never saw in yourself, or shadows you must face if you are ever to be free. They may laugh with you until your ribs ache. They may sit with you in the dark when the night feels too heavy. They may carry you through waters you did not have the strength to cross, and when their part of the story is done, they will step away not because you have failed them, not because they have failed you, but because their chapter has reached its final line. You can try to keep them in the book longer than they are written to be there, but the ink will run dry, the words will lose their music, and the beauty of what was meant to be will turn into the weight of something forced. There are also companions who feel like anchors in the storm, steady, sure, and deeply necessary for a time. Yet if you keep them tied to your boat when the storm has passed, they will keep you from sailing into the open waters where new horizons wait. Some people can walk with you only in the valley and cannot bear the climb to the mountain. Some people can hold your hand in your brokenness, but will not. Some people can sit at your table when you are serving scraps, but will vanish when you serve abundance, because your abundance reminds them of their hunger. This is not cruelty. It is the way of journeys. When the map was drawn for your life, every intersection was already known, every parting of the ways already marked. And the truth is this: you will outgrow some people, and some people will outgrow you. The shoes that once fit will become too small, and no matter how you try to force your foot back in, they will pinch and blister until you cannot walk another step. And the farther you try to carry someone who was never meant for the next stretch of the road, the heavier your steps will become, the dimmer your light will grow, and the more you will mistake stillness for safety. There is also a sweetness in temporary companionship, a beauty in those brief but profound crossings of paths, like two travelers meeting at a crossroads, sharing a meal, exchanging stories by the fire, and then parting at dawn. The memory of them will warm you when the road is cold. Their laughter will echo in your mind long after the sound has faded. Their words will sit like seeds in the soil of your heart, blooming at unexpected times. They were not meant to walk forever by your side, but that does not make their presence less valuable. It makes it sacred. We must learn to hold our companions with open hands, grateful when they are near, peaceful when they are gone. The tight fist tries to keep what is leaving, but the open palm blesses both the one who stays and the one who departs. And if you can bless the one who leaves, you will find that your heart remains light enough to welcome the one who is coming, because the road is long, and there are still many tables to sit at, many sunsets to witness, many doors to open, and many faces to meet, and each face, each meeting, each shared mile is a thread in the tapestry that is being woven through your life, a tapestry that will not be complete until the final day, and every thread, whether it stayed for a yard or only for an inch, has a purpose in the pattern. So walk your road with grace, knowing that some will walk with you only until the next bend, and when they turn away, do not mourn as though they have taken your destination. With them your destination remains ahead, your feet still know the way, and those who are meant to arrive with you will be strong enough to make the journey. There is a strange quiet that comes after certain people leave your life. At first, you may not even notice it, because you are still listening for the sound of their voice, still glancing at the spaces they once filled, still half expecting their footsteps to return. The absence feels loud in those early days, like an empty room where the echo has nowhere to go but back into your own chest. But slowly, something shifts, the air changes, the ground feels steadier under your feet, the sky looks a little wider, as though it has been trying to show itself to you all along, but had been blocked by a shadow you didn't even realize was there. Peace often does not come with trumpets or celebrations. It comes like the dawn, so softly that like the dawn. So into the corners of your mind, not looking, it seep into the corners of your mind where anxiety once curled itself into knots. It flows into your home. It flows into your home, into your routines, into the spaces between your breaths. And one day you notice that you are not bracing yourself before you speak. You are not walking on eggshells to keep someone else from shattering, or not shrinking yourself to make room. For storm people carry storms within them, restless tempests that spill over into every room they enter. You may have thought you could calm them, may have thought you could calm them, that your patience could soften the wind, that your love could stop the rain. But some storms are not yours to weather, and when those storms pass out of your life, even if they go raging into the distance, the silence they leave behind is not emptiness. It is healing space. It is the space where your laughter can ground out. It is the space where your thoughts can unfold without entangled in the vineness. There is a weight you do not know you are carrying until it is literally. You may have thought your shoulders were simply built ache. One may have believed that heaviness was the price of connection. But when the wrong prisons leave, your spine straightens, your head rises, and you realize how light you were always meant to feel. You breathe differently, deeper, fuller, as though your lungs had been waiting for permission to take in the whole sky. Peace is not just the absence of conflict. It is the presence of safety. It is knowing you can speak and not be silenced, rest and not be disturbed, dream and not be shamed. It is waking without the dread of stepping into someone else's battlefield. It is lying down at night without rehearsing your defense for tomorrow's accusations. It is walking through your day without the conscience under your skin. And when that peace settles in, you begin to see yourself more clearly. You remember the things you love, the small joys you forgot to reach for when you were busy surviving someone else's chaos. You find that music sounds richer, food tastes better, the sun feels warmer, not because the world has changed, but because you are finally living in it without someone else dimming the colors. Sometimes we mistake drama for passion, noise for significance, chaos for meaning. We grow accustomed to the roller coaster, the highs and lows, the constant demand to prove our loyalty, to earn our place, and when it stops, we may feel a strange stillness that is almost uncomfortable. But stillness is not emptiness. It is the foundation upon which true joy can be built. Peace is fertile soil, and in that soil your soul can plant what it was too wary to nurture before. The right departures are not thefts. They are gifts. They hand you back your mornings without dread, your evenings without resentment, your nights without restless turning. They give you room to grow roots without someone else pulling at them, to stretch toward the light without someone blocking it with their shadow. And while you may miss the idea of them, the comfort of what was familiar, the version of yourself that existed with them, you will find that you do not miss the unrest, the small betrayals, the constant negotiations with your own peace just to keep them near. One day, you will look around and realize your life is quieter. Not empty, but calm. You will realize that you are no longer waiting for the next outburst, the next disappointment, the next wound. You will realize that the storms have moved on, and in their place, there is blue sky stretching endlessly above you. And in that moment, you will understand that the silence you feared was not loneliness. It was the sound of your soul exhaling. Every life is a house being built. Wall by wall, stone by stone, beam by beam, the foundation is laid in the quiet work of your early days, the moments no one else sees, the choices you make when the world is not watching. And as you move through the years, you gather bricks, people, experiences, words, and lessons, each one shaping the shelter you will stand beneath for the rest of your days. Some bricks are strong, formed by truth and kindness, baked in the heat of loyalty, steady under the weight of time. Others are brittle, crumbling in your hands even as you try to stack them, leaving gaps where the wind and rain slip in. And there are some that look beautiful on the outside, polished, painted, shining in the sunlight, but hollow within, unable to bear the smallest strain without breaking. The wrong people in your life can be like those hollow bricks. They promise support, they promise shelter, they promise to stand with you when the storm comes. But when the rain begins to fall, they dissolve in your hands, and if you keep building with them, you will spend your days repairing the same walls over and over, wondering why nothing ever stands strong for long. A house cannot rise on a foundation made of weakness, and a future cannot be built with people who are not built for the journey ahead. There are also bricks that are heavy in all the wrong ways, not because they give strength, but because they drag your walls down under their own weight. They may carry their bitterness like cement, their envy like nails, their fear like mortar, and when you place them in your life structure, they do not hold you up. They pull you inward, bending your frame until it begins to crack. You may not notice at first, because they arrive with smiles, with promises, with the appearance of being solid. But over time, you feel the strain, you hear the creak in your beams, you see the slow, quiet tilting of what you've worked so hard to build. And there are people who may have been the right bricks once, steady, dependable, good for the wall you were building at that time. But the design of your life changes. What worked in the foundation may not belong in the tower. What held you at the start may they know the height or the strength for an instant collapse in place. When they no longer fit is to risk the collapse of everything above them. You must be careful, my dear, about what and who you build with, because your life structure will have to withstand more than one storm, more than one winter, more than one shaking of the ground. And the wrong bricks, no matter how pretty, no matter how familiar, will betray you in the test. Some will let the rain seep in until your walls rot from the inside out. Some will crumble entirely, leaving you exposed to every wind that blows, and some will press outward, pushing against your structure until it cracks under the strain. But the right bricks, the right people, they will stand with you through the tremors. They will take the weight of the roof without splintering. They will shield you from the cold, hold fast when the waters rise, and remain steady even when time itself wears at the edges. They are not always the shiniest, not always the most impressive at first glance, but they are strong in the places that matter, in character, in loyalty, in truth. And when the wrong bricks are removed from your walls, it may feel like loss. It may look like ruin for a time. You may see gaps where there were once familiar shapes, holes where once there was color, but those spaces are not the end. They are the beginning. They are the invitation for stronger bricks, truer hands, wiser builders to join in the making of your future. And little by little, as each right brick is set in place, the walls rise higher, straighter, surer, until one day you stand inside a life that is not only beautiful to the eye, but unshakable in the storm, for the shelter you are building will not just be for you. It will be a refuge for those you love, a place where others can find safety, warmth, and light, and such a place cannot be made with the wrong materials, no matter how hard you try to make them fit, so let them go, those bricks that crack and crumble in your hands, because your future deserves walls that will stand, and you, my dear, deserve to live inside a life that does not fall apart every time the wind changes direction.